Sometimes I feel like I'm in Barcelona. Sing anytime I hear this tune, I just start drifting away. And all I wanna do is go back, back, back. Sometimes I feel like I'm in Barcelona.
So hi, welcome everyone. I'm not sure if you're seeing this, but I'm feeling a bit nervous because this is my very first podcast slash vlog. We're sitting here in, I would say, sunny Barcelona. It's not that sunny anymore. It's getting a bit later and the wind is, there's lots of wind outside. So we're sitting inside in the lobby and next to me is Michelle Sanver. Say hi to the people, Michelle.
Hi everyone.
So Michelle, introduce yourself to my followers. They're not that many of them right now, but we'll work on that. So introduce yourself.
Alright, I'm Michelle Sanver. As you can see, addicted to colors. I'm a PHP developer, been doing PHP since year 2000, and code is my passion. Of course, I also have other interests such as rowing and saxophone.
So, and explain the context, how did we meet and where did we meet?
I think it was at the Whiskey Web in 2012?
Could that be 12? Yeah, that could well be 2011.
When was the first Whiskey Web? That's
I
when
can't remember anymore. I think there were two of those, and I think, I'm not sure, I think it's 2011, 2012. Regardless of that, we went to Whiskey Web, which was a conference about
whiskey and web.
Well, mostly about web, but in a whiskey context. It was in Edinburgh, in Scotland. And there we met and we talked, and it proves that you're an actual, just like me, a community animal. So we see each other at every other event.
We do.
All over the world, even US.
Yeah, we even been to Miami together.
We have been there, okay. So prior to this conversation, we had some conversations yesterday at a pretty nice setting. It was a beach club where a beach party hosted by one of the sponsors of the conference we're at. I have to refer to that too. We're at Drupalcon here, one of the biggest community conferences I've ever been to. And maybe we should start off by talking about that. This is your first Drupalcon.
It is.
What's your impression?
It's huge. All those people, and actually diversity in here is amazing too. I see so many people from different cultures and more women than I'm used to as well, which is nice. And the sessions I've been to has been top quality.
I've been impressed with the sessions too. I've been to previous Drupalcons where the quality of the sessions I picked was so-so. Now I saw a couple of sessions and they were really, really good. So
yeah, there was
a really good job.
A pre-note this morning, which is really a new concept that I never had before. It's like this introduction before the keynotes, and it was really hilarious. One of the guys was dressed in a bull suit, and the other guy in a cape and hunting the bull.
Now these guys Michelle is referring to are, the bull guy is Robert Douglas, and the matador or toreador is Jam. Jeffrey A. Maguire is his real name, but everyone knows him as Jam. And these two have a habit of doing the pre-note. And what is the pre-note? It's the session prior to the keynote. And they always try to make it fun, interactive, and most importantly, there's a relevance to it, right? It's very community oriented.
They did mention a code of conduct in a really, really cool way.
Yes.
What they did was, of course, Jam was teasing the bull, and then eventually someone mentioned code of conduct and they just hugged.
It was really cool because I'm sick and tired of getting the code of conduct stuffed down our throats. So doing this in such a way and proving their point, I like that. So we should see more of that.
It was a nice act, I think.
And did you stick around for the keynote?
I did.
How about that?
I liked it, but not being a Drupal developer, I didn't. It was nice seeing that they will move to feature branches, which is the way I'm used to working, and I think that Drupal will go further and further.
I believe that too, and I see it. I work in the hosting industry, so we get a lot of Drupal on our plate. You work at, tell us where you work.
I work at Liip, which is an awesome community company in Switzerland. We focus mostly on Symfony, but we have some Drupal developers as well. And at Liip, we have this special thing where we're trying to do self-management, which two Leapers today, Lucas Smith and Antonio, had a talk about. And it was really, really interesting to see people's reaction to how Liip works and how transparent we are with everything. And that's part of the reason I love working there.
So you work at Liip. You're not a Drupalist per se, but you're a technologist, full on, hardcore.
Yeah.
What kind of technology you work with on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, I work with Symfony, I work with Elasticsearch, and I build APIs mainly with these tools.
Very nice job. We'll definitely continue on those topics because we want to dig deeper in what your expertise is and how you believe things will change, even for the worse or the better. But I would love to talk more first about the Drupalcon event. So we talked about the pre-note, which is a really interesting concept. The fact that there's a ton of people here. I think there's almost or over 2,000 people, whereas the events we attend, what kind of numbers are we talking about there?
If it's a big conference, it's 300, max 400.
Yeah, so those are big numbers to us. Coming here, it's astonishing. And I remember my first DrupalCon, which was Munich a couple of years ago, also more than 1,000 people or more than 2,000 people. It blew my mind. And I believe, and I would love to hear your ideas about this, is this community vibe that's going on and the fact that they can draw in so much people. They have an amazing community.
I think the Drupal community is amazing because I love hugs and everyone hugs each other. It's so cute to see everyone in the corridors and everywhere hugging each other.
So there's a really positive vibe.
Everyone seems really happy and excited, like
yes,
super excited to be here.
Excited, and that differs a bit from what we're used to. Like I know that people are excited to go to the conferences we go to or the conferences we organize, but it's a different kind of excitement here. It's like fanboy and fangirl kind of stuff.
I don't know. I've been to Laracon as well, which is, you get kind of the same vibe in there. But in there it's way smaller than it is here.
Yeah,
So
they have experience, of course, and something you might or might not know is this is community-oriented and community-organized, but it's not because you're a community that you're a bunch of amateurs or just grassroots. They have outgrown the status of a grassroots conference, and they have an association, a professional entity that helps to organize this conference and also helps to fund this conference because they're very transparent in their numbers. And I remember in Munich they gave a breakdown of the numbers, what it costs to organize such an event, and it costs about €1 million.
of course,
€1 million.
2,000 people in a venue that caters for that, catering for 2,000 people. You have.
I don't want to think about paying all of that.
Yeah.
So they're used to it. This is not the first time they do it. They do it multiple times a year, and I think the challenging part of it is doing it all over the world, so that
They change. They usually have a Drupalcon US and a Drupalcon Europe.
And they tried doing something on different continents. I've seen things happening in Australia, South America, even Asia, I guess. So they're very on top of it. And I love to use that all over the world and international team as a sort of segue to something I really wanted to talk to you about, is the fact that you're a very international person. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to have you here to have this conversation, because it's quite a compelling story you have, and I would love to hear more about what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. So those are the 3 key things I would really love to hear. So explain to people where you're from and what your trajectory has been in life and in your career so far.
Okay, I would say I'm from Europe nowadays. I grew up in Sweden, and Sweden is an amazing place to grow up with, friendly people, and just fantastic. Then I moved to Netherlands and lived there for 6 years, and eventually moved to Zürich 1.5 years ago, and so far I really like it there.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. I still live in the same town I was born and raised. I tried different things, but it still kept me where I am. So, and I myself consider myself to be a very international person, but more of I go places, do my thing, and come back home every now and then.
You never felt like moving?
Yes, but I felt very happy where I was from an emotional point of view. But from a practical point of view, it's sometimes hard because I live a bit remote. I live in the west of Belgium, so everything requires a bit of travel, and there's no IT happening where I live at. So a lot of people from my area are forced to go to the big cities, go to Brussels, Ghent, Antwerp, or abroad, like you did. So yes, I felt the need once to broaden my horizons, but I realized I can do this in my job, in my day-to-day. I can go to conferences, I talk to interesting people like you. But for you it was different, I guess.
Yeah, when I moved from Sweden to Netherlands, it's because I fell in love with one of those Dutch tall blonde people.
They're tall, they're blonde, and they're nice and outgoing. I know that.
So I moved, after having known him for almost no time, I moved to Netherlands, took everything I had and just moved.
So actually it was love that brought you to the Netherlands.
Yes.
Okay, that's fun. Because yesterday we talked about the topic, but we didn't want to ruin this moment. I didn't want to hear the reason why. So I saved it for this conversation. So I did not know this. This is new information to me, and it makes it interesting. So Edwin is the name of your partner, your fiancé.
My fiancé.
Congratulations. So he convinced you, or were you sold on the idea instantly?
It kind of just happened. I went to visit and I didn't want to go home.
That happens. And was it a big sacrifice? Did you have to leave lots of people behind?
My friends, of course. The biggest sacrifice was not seeing my family so often. So that's the hardest part that I still struggle with today.
And how do you solve that? How does that work? Because I can imagine that a lot of people go above and beyond, and expand their horizons and travel around for their career, but life is about more than your career. So how do you cope with this? What was your way of making sure all the bits and pieces fell into place?
My family are as geeky as I am and as techy as I am, so we have this Facebook group where we chat to each other all the time, just on our phones, and we keep in touch all the time. But that's not always enough, of course. So
do you see each other every now and then?
About 2 times a year right now, but I'm actually going down in working time because Liip is awesome. I can just decide how much I should work. So I'm going down in working time to have a better work-life balance and see them more often.
That's a hot topic these days, work-life balance, and I've been a professional or web professional for 11 years now, and I've seen a lot of people either burn out or just lose interest. So work-life balance I find it to be a big topic these days.
It's really important for me, because if you only have work and no life, what use is working? For me, working should be something you really, really enjoy, because you spend most of your life doing it.
Yeah. But for a lot of people in the tech industry, they get stuck in this geeky monoculture. Mm-hmm. And you obviously have friends outside of the or you have friends outside of the how do we call this respectfully? Geeky is not outside of the tech industry. That would be
outside of the technical community.
Technical community. That's even better. That's even a better way of putting it.
Yes, but it's mainly. I only have 1 or 2 friends from my teenage years left, because you slide apart when you live in different countries.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
And they are quite geeky as well, even though they don't necessarily work with IT.
No, indeed, because there's a difference between a geek and being into tech. But a lot of techies are geeks, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And does that lead to awkward conversations? Sometimes I have lots of friends, or the majority of my friends do not work in the tech industry. Honestly, the majority of my friends are just teachers. They just teach.
Oh, my sister is a teacher.
So that can lead to interesting conversations, right? Because I believe that the world of the ecosystem of a teacher is quite straightforward. I'm not saying it's easy. Like, I know it's really hard, and I think it's harder than what we do.
It's a harder job than I have, for sure.
Yeah. But we know what it is like, right? We've been to school, so we've seen it, we've been through it. But IT is something completely different, and like having conversations about work, for me, I won't call it tedious or tiring, but there's so much context and so much to explain before you can actually explain what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. Do you experience that as well?
I don't have many friends outside of the tech community actually, and the ones who do, they have partners or other friends, and that's how I met them. And
So there's always a link.
they always kind of know what I do.
What you
already.
do, what you do.
Except a few people who I met while rowing.
Tell us about rowing.
It's I started.
Is
it
that
when
your main hobby these days? We're still in the topic of work-life balance, right? So
It's my main outside of work hobby, outside of PHP hobbies.
and it's, according to what I see, it's a very physical thing. So
It is so. I kind of do it in a leisure kind of way, take it slow and just enjoy the lake, take regular breaks. And it's amazing in Zürich, you have this huge lake and you go out and just enjoy the peacefulness of it.
you're in a team or a club, or you're just doing this?
I'm in a club. I actually wanted to go rowing, so I started researching, and then I found a Nordic rowing club. So it's only Swedes and Danes and Norwegians.
So that has a sort of connection with what used to be home for you.
It does. And it's really fun because we're about 300 members, but only about 20 active rowers. The rest party with us.
They just come for the beer and the booze.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. You talked about you're in Zurich, you like rowing there, you settled down, and I would love to switch over to, we're talking about the work-life balance, to the work part. So I've been hearing about Liip, and you've explained about Liip, and they're colleagues here of yours, and they're doing a talk. Liip seems like a pretty amazing company to work for, so I would love to hear a bit more about that.
Liip is actually the reason I moved to Switzerland,
Okay,
because I had
so
been...
let's recap.
Okay.
Sweden, from Sweden to Netherlands for love, from the Netherlands to Zurich for work, but you're bringing love, right?
I would say for work love.
Work love.
It was a really random story how I actually started working at Liip.
Maybe you should tell the story for our viewers.
So what happened was I was looking for whatever new job, new experiences anywhere in the world, and then a guy working at Liip right now, Mikkel Hög, he sent me a random tweet. And I replied to it. It was something like, we're looking for a new Justin Lieper joke. And I said, can I be Justina Lieper? Where I found out he was Danish, and we kind of connected on that Scandinavian level.
Yeah, nice. And Mikkel is actually here. He's at the event. I met him. He's a really nice guy. And all the people I know who work or have worked at Liip seem like a special breed of people. They have very specific recruiting requirements, I guess. If you want to work at Liip, you need to be that kind of person, I guess.
You need to fit in with the culture. We have a specific recruiting process actually. So there's two people first, usually someone from management, but not always, and someone else in the first interview. And they make sure you have maybe the correct tech skills, etc. And then they ask the team if they want to bring them in for the second interview. And the team says okay, and then in the team they meet people for 2 or 3 hours, 20 minutes each, and then you can ask whatever. In my second interview I got asked, what's your favorite movie?
Yeah, that's important. I like these questions.
Yeah. And
So what's your favorite movie?
E.T.
E.T. So you're into sci-fi and fantasy a bit? Or?
Not necessarily, it's all the memories I have from it. I saw it first time when I was 8 years old, and then E.T. and Alien, and I was really into green, of course, and I just found it kind of cute and a cute story.
How did the Leapers respond to that? Like, you made an impression, obviously, because you had the job, or you still have the job?
I think
what happened then?
Some Leapers already knew me from the community, and after that they said they wanted to hire me, so I moved to Switzerland.
And you're still happy there, and you're about to establish your life there and move on and be successful, right? Obviously. Speaking of successful, speaking of continuing on the Liip story, what do you guys do on a day-to-day basis? So what we know is it's not all Drupal. You have Drupal folks. You have a very diverse set of people and skills.
Yeah.
Your team, what's the name of your team?
My team is Lego.
Lego.
Geeky enough, I love Legos, so that's.
And that's the name of the team, Lego.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm in Team Lego, and we have 2 squads in Team Lego. It's the front-end squad and the back-end squad. We call the front-end squad Lego Creator, and the back-end squad Lego Technics.
Oh, awesome.
And I work in Lego Technics, building one of the biggest APIs for a Swiss retailer. And it's really, really challenging with all the things you have to think about with load balancing and
Absolutely.
Different products and Elasticsearch, having it up and running on different nodes, and all the mapping
Mapping the data. Yeah.
to actual good data is
Making sure you have the right data types. Elasticsearch, love the technology. I'm in love with it. I'm even wearing an Elasticsearch hoodie right now. Not sure if you can see this.
How fitting.
It's technology I've learned to love, but it's not that easy, right? Because it says it's so it scales well. That's a fact, and it's sort of schemaless. But that's like you really don't want it to be schemaless. You do explicit mapping, I guess.
You still have the mapping, so we do explicit mapping in this case, but sometimes it doesn't quite work out with some products when you're missing data.
Yeah, obviously, it's like it's semi-structured or not entirely structured. Yeah, I get it. So yeah, that's what we have right now. We have Michelle out here talking about Drupal, talking about work-life balance, how her life took a turn for the best, and moved from Sweden to Netherlands and out to Switzerland, and actually worldwide, because I'm pretty sure I'll see you at future events. I'm pretty sure we'll hear some interesting stories from you, both from a Liip perspective and from which other perspective? What other initiatives are you involved with that we did not mention yet today?
Obviously,
you are part of
PHPWomen. I'm president of PHPWomen since 2011, and it's an awesome initiative because it's not only about women, it's about people and making everyone feel welcome and included in this awesome friendly community.
So PHPWomen is not only it's not exclusively to women, right? It's just a symbolic name, I guess.
Yes, our aim and goal is of course to make everyone feel included, and our name, the reason we didn't change it often is because we want women to find other women, and if we have another name it becomes harder for them to find each other.
Exactly.
The name actually attracts a lot of people who find each other and can discuss things and how their life works. It's really
I actually love PHPWomen, and it was such a compelling story that we decided with Conbel to sponsor it, and we offer you free hosting, and if you guys and girls need help, we're just one phone call away, and I think we'll keep doing this for a while. And I think it's, as you said, indeed, you stick to the name because in terms of diversity, we're still not where we should be.
No, we're definitely far from it.
Yeah. This is where we're at right now, Drupalcon.
But at Drupalcon, it's actually quite good.
So what lessons could we learn? Being, in our context, being PHP people?
Be 2,000 people? I don't know.
Yeah, like if you, is that statistics then, according to you? If you have 2,000 people, chances that you have a diverse crowd? And with diversity, we mean women and men, people of different cultures, color, sexual orientation. What else do we have?
Different backgrounds. Disabilities.
Yeah, disabilities.
And I've seen something
young,
representing most.
Yeah.
I think we're missing old people.
And young people, maybe really young people.
No, in here I've seen quite many really young people.
Yeah, I've seen kids here. I've seen people bring their kids to even to sessions.
That really brings a feeling how much of community it is.
Yeah.
When people bring their kids, you know, it's community.
So what actual lessons could we learn? And this, I know this is a really hard one, because if we knew the answer, we would have solved that problem already. But what we're seeing is we have a very diverse crowd here in PHP land, the world we live in. Not exclusively live in, of course, we cross over to the other worlds. We see less of that. How could we do a better job?
I think we already kind of do. I've seen increase in different numbers already over the years, and how I am treated as a person is also better from 2012 to now. So I think we're already doing quite a good job. Of course, Drupal attracts all kinds of different people because it's a CMS, and not everyone is even a developer, and everyone welcomes each other, no matter if they're a developer or if they're a front-end person or if they're a marketing person.
Absolutely.
In our community, I say.
It's only very techie people, primarily developers.
Yeah, and if there's a sales guy...
The people will give him the eye and like...
Yeah, and then here they just give them a hug instead.
Yeah, indeed. And that's something that came out of the keynote that was quite compelling, and something I'll definitely take back home is Dries, the tech lead of Drupal and the actual founder, the guy who invented Drupal, said we need to make sure that non-tech people or non-developer people are treated as first-class citizens here. So he had 3 highlights in his keynote. First is, when is Drupal 8 going to be ready?
Yay.
Second is, can we get the UX better? Referring to that non-techie people, non-developer people should be able to work with Drupal and be an essential part of the Drupal ecosystem. What was the third part again? Technological relevance, I guess, and decoupled and headless Drupal. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we should find a way of getting non-techie people into our world.
Yeah, I guess if you have more a mixture of people, it's much better.
Because the weird thing is, like, we're talking about numbers here, 450. Our conference, I run the PHP Benelux conference in Antwerp. We have about 450 to 500 people. This is 2,000 people, and it's all PHP because Drupal is written in PHP. You have WordCamps that are huge, all written in PHP. You have Magento events, all written in PHP. Why don't we just find a way to have crossover and have this one big community and join forces?
I think they're trying to do that already with PHP World.
Yes, excellent example. You were there last year?
I was there last year.
I was there as well.
It was amazing.
I was there. It was cool.
We're at every conference.
Yes, yeah, that was in Washington, DC. And explain the purpose of the conference. What was it about?
The purpose of the conference, as the name suggests, is PHP World. So you have this world of PHP and all the CMSs, all the frameworks and everything. In the end, we're all PHP, and we should work together as a community, as a whole community. So we had representatives from Laravel, from Symfony, from WordPress, from Drupal, of course.
Joomla, Magento, Send framework.
Magento, Send framework.
Yeah.
And basically all the major all the major frameworks and CMSs in the PHP world.
Yeah.
And the idea was, we're all people, we all work with PHP, let's make PHP better together.
And that was the first edition, and I'm pretty sure the next edition that comes up in November will be bigger. And being a conference organizer myself, I know it takes a couple of years to establish your name.
Yeah.
And I think it clashed with other events as well, or other people use their budget to go to the sister conference of PHP World, to Tech.
Yeah,
so once they know that PHP World is out there, I'm pretty sure a lot of more people will come there. I met a lot of Magento and WordPress people at PHP World, so that was a big plus for me. And I'm seeing it at ZenCon as well. ZenCon in October in Las Vegas. We'll have Joomla tracks, we'll have WordPress, Magento. So that's a clear message, I guess, to the PHP people watching here. From the PHP end, we're doing efforts, and it's clear that the Drupal people are putting in the effort as well, because they have a PHP track, they have a Symfony track. So there's good things ahead. Good things ahead. Okay, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you, Michelle, for hanging out with me in the bar.
Thanks.
And let's have some dinner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cheers, people. Hope you liked it. This was the very first episode. More where that came from. Goodbye.